Hi there, and welcome back to Founders Journal. Now today I want to try and explain a bit more about stabilizing the economy, the ENT token as a stable unit of value, a true stable coin. Now again, this is the holy grail. It is very difficult to understand what this is. First of all, this is not money as we know it. Nothing like money as we know it. ENT token is not a commodity, it's not an investment. It's a token of equity, fairness. And we cannot impose this. It's not communism where we fix the prices. Bread is one ENT token, that's it. And if you pay or if you charge more than one ENT token, you will go to prison. No. It's a free market. Everyone can charge whatever they like, but we give you a guide price. That is the purpose of the ENT token consumer price index. What is that? That is a number that we give you, a guide price for everything. It basically means we give you a recommended price for bread. We say bread should be about one ENT token. Now, if you go shopping and you see someone selling bread for 10 ENT token, you will know, hang on, it should be about one. This number, the ECPI number, is designed to protect the consumer, all of us. It means there can be no rip-offs, no scams. Look at crypto now. You can buy something for, say, 10,000 tokens because you don't know what it means. Then later you go and see someone else selling it for 10. You kick yourself. Man, I paid 10,000 for that. It was only 10. That's the big problem we got now. Now what I'm saying is the global economy on its basic level, basic level is already quite stable. The trouble is the global economy is mostly unstable due to artificial instability. It's due to the banking system, all the different fiat currencies around the world. They create massive instability and wealth inequality. Look at it like this. What is this number? How do we get the number, the ECPI? Well, we have to evaluate the entire global economy. But we do not evaluate it in terms of money. We evaluate it in terms of human labour. What work do we have to do to get the stuff that we need? It's a measurement of true human value. Relative value. How much work does everyone in the world on average do to produce a loaf of bread? That's the value of bread. Look, for example, for me, if I'm a baker in London, how much work do I have to do to make the bread? Well, if I go to India, it's going to be quite similar. How much work do you have to do to make a loaf of bread? We evaluate the value of bread based on the work done. Now, it will still vary a bit because me here in the UK, I will have to buy flour. So there might be a slight variation. But it's close. Let's look at farming. Okay, let's forget about big industrial farming. Let's look small scale. A small farm here in the UK or the US got 10 cows, one field, run by one family. How much work does that family have to do to maintain the farm? Well, let's go to India. One farm, 10 cows, one family, one field. How much work do they have to do to maintain the farm? It's quite similar. So we are choosing the value based on human labour, not on fiat money. Now, because of this, we can create an average, a global average. We analyse the entire global markets, and then we take a global average for this. Then we can have a global price guide. Remember, the price is not in money. The price is in equity, fairness, How much work, on average, across the globe, does it take to produce, I don't know, the meat from one cow? How much work does it cost, on average, in work, to produce one pizza? It's going to be quite similar. And what the ECPI number does is average it out globally. So every consumer can see basically what something should cost based on the global average. But it's a free market. Now, okay, it's so difficult to explain. Let's look at the future. This is how I see this working. Imagine in time, ENT token is going around. So we've got masses of ENT token. Now we have a decentralised marketplace. Everyone can sell all different goods and services on this marketplace. It's like Amazon. So you go and look at the marketplace for a computer. I want to buy a computer. So you look for the computer and you see, this computer costs 10,000 ENT token. So you, on the marketplace, you will have the price the computer is sold for, 10,000. But you will also have the ECPI price. Two prices. You will see the seller's price, 10,000, and then you will see the ECPI price. That might be 9,000. So you know globally, on average, in terms of human labour, the average cost of a computer should be 9,000. But this seller is selling it for 10. Now you can make a choice. You have to look through and see, well, why are they more expensive? They have to justify the price. Now, and then that is fine. You may see the valid reason. The seller, no, I have made a super new computer. No one else has got this. Therefore, I can charge 10. And the consumer is protected. They can make an analysis. Well, this is the global average. Now, they're selling it for more, but I understand why. Okay, I pay them more. Let's look at something else. A bag, a handbag. You want to buy a bag. Now, we analyse the global markets to produce a bag. We're not analysing the global markets based on money. I mean human labour. How much work does it take on average? Remember, this is a complex calculation. We include everything, the leather production, the manufacturing production, the transport costs, on average. And we now know the ECPI number for a bag. It's about 1 ENT token. So the global average in terms of human labour to produce a bag would be 1 ENT token. So you look on the marketplace for bags and you can see bags, okay, they should be about 1. But you look at a designer bag. So now you go and look at Gucci bag. Gucci bag is selling for 10 ENT token. But remember, the price will come up. The bag is 10. But next to it will be the ECPI price, which is 1. So now the consumer is protected. They know, okay, the cost to produce a bag is 1, but Gucci is selling it for 10. Why would you buy? The only reason to buy is because you like Gucci. Gucci has to justify it. No, no, no. This is a one-of-a-kind new designer bag. We're charging 10 because we have designed it. Fair enough. But the consumer is protected. Now, if you just want a bag, no, I want the cheapest possible bag. I know it should be about 1. I look through the marketplace. I find someone selling a bag for 0.9. So I go for that one. You see, what would happen? What would happen? We would be stabilising the global economy. At the moment, we are all competing at random against each other. And we're all advertising to create the illusion of value. And that value is artificially inflated and moves about because of fiat currency. None of us know what the hell is going on. With the ECPI number, everyone will know this is the global average price, not based on money, based on human work. Then we can make an assessment. Now, remember, anyone going onto the marketplace, let's say I'm selling bags. Now, I produce a bag, I work out my cost, but when I put it on the marketplace, immediately the number will be given to me. I will know it. Every seller will know the ECPI number beforehand. I know full well the average price for a bag is 1. Now, if I want to create a business selling bags, I know my bag has to cost about 1. If I want to sell a bag and it costs me 10, I want to sell it for 10, I have to have a justified reason. I know that. I have to make an advertising campaign to justify why my bag is 10. But if I want to make a business, a new franchise, I want to compete with the market. I have to find a way to produce a bag for less than 1. So I work out I can produce a bag for 0.5. 0.5 ENT token. I beat the ECPI number. Now I'll sell a lot of bags. Everyone will buy bags from me because I have beat the global average. Do you see? It means now, look at this, look at the markets, the stock markets. They're all balanced with these things, the Dow Jones, we will have even the Bitcoin number, all of this stuff, forget all that. We're looking at the global markets across the average work for everyone. It's the only fair way. The token is based on taking this average and giving us all an equal percentage, a fixed percentage of the global average of work done. Then we allocate that percentage a unit, a token. So the token represents equity, a fair unit of human work. That's what it represents. It's not imposed, it's a guide price, a consumer price index to protect the consumer. We understand. Now, everyone in the globe is not competing with each other. They are competing with the EPCI number. The ECPI number will come down because now someone worked out how to make a bag for half. Now, when the next person works out how to make a bag for half, now we have 2 sellers at 0.5. And it's going to take a long time. Once we've got, say, 1 million people selling a bag at 0.5, well, now the ECPI number comes down. You see, the EPCI number tells you the global average. It will be about 1. But what happens in the global market is changing. Yes, it's always changing based on manufacturing, transport, scarcity. Yes, genuine variations. There will always be genuine variations, but there will be no artificial variations. Let's look at something else. Let's look at pizza. All right, let's say pizza, same thing. We work out the global average to produce a pizza is 1 token. But you go to Mount Everest. On base camp of Mount Everest, someone is selling you pizza. Now, fair enough, that pizza is 10 ENT token because you know, yeah, that's hard to produce a pizza at the base camp of Mount Everest. Fair enough. But you go to Naples, Italy. Everyone is making pizza there. It's easy. So in Naples, Italy, everywhere pizza will be 0.9, 0.8, 0.6, 1.1. Oh, someone is selling it at 1.1. Why are they more expensive? They got truffles. Fair enough. You see, you go to Naples now, you buy a pizza. If you're a tourist, you'll get ripped off. Tourists, they charge you, 50 euros for a pizza because you don't know. But if you're a local, you go to the best pizza shop and it's only 10 euros. But you're a tourist, you won't know. Now everyone knows everywhere, pizza should be 1. You go to a tourist shop, theirs is 10. You'll think, why 10? Now the tourist shop have to justify, no, our pizza is more expensive because of our location. Look, we're sitting here next to this great big cathedral. Therefore, our pizza is more expensive. They have to justify it to the consumer. There's no rip-offs. Do you see? Now, I've got the formula to calculate this. It's a basic formula. In reality, the formula to calculate the ECPI number is going to be quite complex. We would need a big algorithm. There are so many factors involved. But once we create the algorithm, again, remember, it's an assessment of the global economy based on human labour, not based on money. And it has to calculate all different things. But once we've got the algorithm that calculates this, this will last forever because you keep re-evaluating the economy as it changes. So when you go to the ENTIFY marketplace, everything in ENT token, the ECPI number will also be changing a little bit, but it'll be so slight. What will happen is over time, it will stabilise, and every market seller will be moving towards this ECPI number. Stable value. A loaf of bread, okay, will work out to be 1. Now we tell you the number is 1, but across the globe, yes, it will be different. It'll be 1.1 here, 0.9 here, but slowly they will all approach 1 until globally the price goes down. But it means if you want to increase the price, you have to provide the value for real. I have to make a better bread. I have to be creative. I have to do something special to make my bread go above 1. And then people see it. Do you know what? This guy's bread is fantastic. I don't mind paying 10 for it. You are increasing the value for real. There's no artificial value change. We as living beings have to eat the bread and think this bread is delicious. Therefore, it increases the value to me. Therefore, I pay 10 instead of the recommended number of 1. Now, again, the algorithm to create this ECPI number, this will be inside the blockchain, but it will be open sourced. Everyone can see the algorithm used to create the ECPI number. No cheating. Everyone can analyze it. How do we get the number? And everyone has to agree, yes, okay, I can understand what this ECPI number means. It's perfectly fair. It's a number we give you so that immediately everyone knows the value of things. How do we know the value of things? We have to take an assessment of the global economy. Not in terms of money, in terms of human value. Very difficult to understand. And it's in terms of relative value. Let's look at it another way. In India, how much work do I have to do in a day to earn some rupees to buy some bread? So I have to look at the cost of bread in rupees and the money I earn in rupees, and then I have to calculate the percentage of my income of rupees to pay for bread. Then I know the relative price in bread for me. Then I take the average for that country. And then I have to do the same for the US, for the UK. Find the global average of income to expenditure to work out the relative value of things. Then we take the global average. Now once we do this, we can also calculate fiat currency prices for the token. Okay, to calculate the fiat currency prices is the same principle. We need this now to work out the price for the ENT token in terms of dollars, in terms of pounds, in terms of euros. Because if we receive donations, we want to be able to give tokens in return. But how many tokens do we give? If we fix it and say 100 tokens is $100. Now someone in India, it's going to be very difficult for them to buy $100 of tokens. That's not fair. Someone in US, they'll buy loads. Now we've created instability immediately. There can be no instability. Remember, this token is not a commodity. It's not an investment. It is a token of equity, fairness. It's not money. Hard to understand what this means. Okay, let's go through it. The first principle, ENT token has no fiat price because ENT token is defined by the ECPI, not by markets. So the fiat price is not the market exchange rate. It is a membership contribution based purely on the applicant's local economic capacity, derived using the same mathematics as the ECPI. This ensures fairness, non-speculation, and equal equity for equal effort. Remember, it's defined by human effort. Okay, the key insight, the ENT token value formula. Okay, remember this. This is the basic formula. We have to assess the relative value. The relative value is price relative to income. And then we have to create the universal value, which is the average global relative value. And then we have to create the weighted universal value. So that is the universal value multiplied by the weight. It means when we calculate this ECPI number, we have to give more importance to certain industries. When we calculate this global number, because it's not, like I said, a Gucci bag is not as important as a loaf of bread. So when we calculate the number, we have to give more importance to a loaf of bread. We weight that value more to a Gucci bag. So a loaf of bread, again, we have to decide the weight. This still requires a team to calculate this. We have to choose the weighting of certain industries to get the number. But remember, when we choose this algorithm will be open sourced. Everyone can see what weight we have given to what industry. For example, healthcare. We might give healthcare a higher weight relative to, I don't know, carpentry. But we might not. We haven't decided. But all of this will be open sourced. Everyone can see how we calculate the number. But this is the weighted universal value. Now this is what you've got to calculate this. So then, the ECPI is the sum of the weighted universal value. So the ENT token value, and then the ENT token is a division of that. The ENT token value is the ECPI divided by a certain number, whatever. So we have a unit, and we decide that thing, maybe 10,000. So now we have a single unit of weighted universal value. So the logical fiat on-ramp must use the same structure. Just as the ENT token is based on relative value, remember, not the ENT token. The ENT token, you can spend it how you like, but we give you the price guide. The ECPI number is the price guide for it. That's all. You're still free. It's a free market. Remember. So the ECPI is based on relative value, so the fiat contribution must also be based on relative personal capacity. So, the fiat pricing formula. We have to define the personal contribution index, the individual equivalent to the ECPI. It uses the same concept, relative value, weighted averages, and universal equivalence. But we apply them to the applicant's personal economy. So we have to create the PCI, the personal contribution index. That's how we allocate you tokens. So someone in India wants to buy some tokens. we have to assess their income and allocate accordingly. So it works like this. We have to create the personal relative value. This is exactly like the relative value globally, but for the individual. So the personal relative value is equal to this. It is equal to the local price. We have to work out the local prices for them divided by their personal income. So it's relative to the locality, their personal fiat currency. So here, the local price is the price of an item in the applicant's region. So the personal income is equal to the verified disposable monthly income. Important, not gross income, their disposable income. And then we create the personal universal value. We normalize their personal relative value against the global universal value. So the personal universal value is equal to the personal relative value divided by the universal value. This tells us how strong or weak a person is relative to the global average in human value terms, not currency terms. Then we have to create the personal weighted universal value. Again, it uses the same item weights as the ECPI. We have to evaluate in terms of bread, water, food, housing, not in terms of, luxury items, Gucci bags, Picasso paintings. No, that's not relevant here. We have to weight it according to human value importance. So then we will have the personal weighted universal value. That is equal to the personal universal value multiplied by the weights we give it. Again, the same basic algorithm, open sourced. Everyone will be able to see how we calculate this number. Then we can create the personal contribution index. So this is summed exactly like the ECPI. Same thing. The personal contribution index is equal to the sum of the personal weighted universal value. And this number represents the true human economic capacity of the applicant compared to the global norm. So let's put it this way. Okay, simply, if we calculate that the personal contribution index is 1, then that means you pay 1 unit of fiat per ENT token. If we calculate the PCI is 0.1, then you pay 0.1 fiat units per ENT token. If we calculate the PCI is 10, then you pay 10 fiat units per ENT token. So it means, yes, a wealthy applicant pays more per token. A poor applicant pays less per token. Both receive the same ENT token units because the fiat amount does not define the value. The token is not defined by dollars or rupees. It is defined by the ECPI, the global average of work done by all of us to create the economy. It's not the fiat value. Okay, now the mathematics to create this conversion from fiat, again, is simple but not easy to understand. You have to go through the mathematics carefully to understand what this is. But look, remember this. This mathematics, again, it will be larger. It will need an algorithm because there's so many things that we would need to consider. But the algorithm would be open sourced. Everyone can analyze the mathematics and satisfy themselves that, yes, okay, I understand what this ECPI number means. And yes, I understand why I can use this ECPI number personally for me to work out how many ENT token I personally can get for my money, for my fiat currency. Now the thing is, again, still a debate here. The thing is, this algorithm will work now and it will work in the future. It doesn't matter. Right now, the argument is the global economy is unfair. Yes, it is unfair because it has been built on instability. It has been built on fiat currency. But the trouble is, it's what we have got now. We have to start here and now with what we have got. We cannot start in a fantasy. Listen, the reality is it takes a certain amount of human labour to make bread. Now that labour might be more than it should be, but it is what it is right now. We have to look at how bread is being created around the world. Then we have to assess its universal value based on how much work everyone is doing right now. But I'm saying to you, if we integrate this economic model, the whole economy over time will stabilise. It will change for the better. People will not travel so much. The value will stay locally. A local community will build their value themselves. Everyone will go up. Then the global economy production for bread will change. But at every point it changes, the same ECPI number is calculated. So it will fluctuate as the economy changes a little bit, but you will see the whole economy will stabilise and this number will stabilise. So it doesn't matter now it works, and we can use it to calculate how we translate from today's economy to this stable economy. But let's say 50 years from now, the stable economy is going. The ENT token marketplace is going. Everyone is thriving. Everything is becoming more efficient. The price of bread is going down because we found a better way of doing it. And maybe it's also going up. We have higher prices because people love it more. But the token price for it will still be the same. Because the assessment is continually made based on the work we are doing. So if we do less work, then the number changes. If we do more work, the number changes. But the less work or more work is based on a global average of work that we all do. If the global average of work changes, then the ECPI number changes. Let's say we get free energy machines. Right now, there's a certain amount of work for energy. Again, energy. You cannot rip us off with energy. What is the human labour for energy? A power station. A power station is a water wheel turning. The electricity is free. What is the expenditure of energy? It's only the maintenance team. Human labour to run the generator. That's the work to run the generator. If we calculate the value of electricity based on human labour, is what, 100 people to run a big generator? Globally, that's pittance. It'll be like 0.0001 ENT token for a day's electricity. But we're being charged 1,000 because a company has ascribed some value to it. It's like what? It's like a designer company has given, this is my designer electricity. That's why we can charge you 1,000 for our electricity. But on the marketplace, you will see, no, the global average expenditure in human labour for electricity is 0.000001. When you see an electricity provider charging you 10, you know it's a rip-off. Do you see? Look at aircraft travel. Once you calculate the ECPI number for air travel, we know how much does it cost for any one person to travel 1,000 miles by plane. You calculate the cost in human labour. How much work does it get? How does it cost us to get the petrol, the fuel? I don't mean in the fuel companies, I mean in human labour. Then we know human labour, it costs X for this much petrol. The human labour to build the plane. Yes, fair enough. But the plane is built a long time ago. Now we've got the plane. What is the human labour cost to maintain the plane and to get the petrol? Once you've worked out that, you will have an ECPI number for a flight. One person to fly 1,000 miles in terms of universal human value might be, 10 ENT token. Now you know. You go to the marketplace. I want to find a ticket, 1,000 miles. You will have all the different British Airways. They're selling it for 100 token. Hang on, I can see straight away the ECPI number is 10. Okay, Emirates, they're selling it for 1,000 tokens. Hang on, the ECPI number is 10. Now you see another. Maybe you have the ENTIFY aircraft, ENTI-plane. The ENTI-plane is different. The ENTI-plane will be telling it for 10. We take the ENTI-plane. But you will have variations. Now, when you understand that, and an honest plane company works this out, this again, it's a genuine value. They might sell it for 15, but someone might work out to sell a flight for 9. Once we've got flights being sold for 9 ENT token, now the market changes. Do you see? We're stabilising the whole economy. It's becoming fair. But a price to fly from anywhere to anywhere, any country, any direction, is the same. I want to travel from India to the UK. It costs you 10. I want to travel from the UK to India. It costs you 10. It costs you whatever, but the ECPI number is consumer protection. You know what the reality is in terms of human labour globally, in terms of costing, not in terms of fiat currency. You're taking away all these exchanges, all this gambling. That's why we need the ECPI number. This is the number that will create the stable token. But remember, the token is free. We're not enforcing the stability. You cannot enforce it. You are free. Remember, we are valuing things in one particular way, human labour. But there are other values to things that are personal. An artwork. How do you value an artwork in terms of human labour? That ECPI value is irrelevant. Like I said, let's take a Gucci bag. The ECPI number for a bag is 1. But that is irrelevant to Gucci, because Gucci is selling the bag based on a design, artistic flair. That is human creativity. That's still there, free. It's a free market. Now anyone can look at the bag and say, do you know what? I love that bag. Now that value is love. I love the Gucci bag. Therefore, they can charge whatever the hell they like for it. We charge you 10. It's up to you. Do you love the Gucci bag that much? You will pay 10. But you know full well it is 10 times the global universal average for the production of a bag. It's still a free market. Any artist can create any artwork and put any price. Someone may buy it. It's still a free market, but it's now a market with protection. Never been seen before. And this number, the ECPI number, remember, it has to be quite a big algorithm. Once we've got the algorithm, it will be open sourced. Everyone can see how this number is calculated. So everyone will say, yes, okay, we understand that, that's fair. And that number has to be continually updated. So again, in the beginning, there will be slight variations. We might say bread is 1, but next week bread might be 1.1, 0.9. Slight variations, but always around 1. And now we will also know how much to charge ENT token. If you want to come into the network, buy some ENT tokens. We're not selling the ENT token. The ENT token is not a commodity to be sold. It is a token inside a sovereign network. And this token represents, listen carefully, this token inside the sovereign network represents equity. When you join this ENTIFY network, it's a fair network. Everyone inside this network is equal. And we have equal value. And we're using a token of equality between us. That means if you're a rich person, you enter the network, you must accept, yes, I downgrade my wealth to equalize. If you're a poor person, you will accept, if I enter the network, I upgrade my wealth to equalize. And I mean fiat currency wealth. If I've got $1 million, I pay more, and I accept my dollars have depreciated in value to enter the network. But what is the value I get? The value I get is the world's first stable equity token. You are investing in a stable economy, global fairness. Hard to understand. So I hope this made sense. Please again do leave any questions, comments or suggestions. There's so much going on, I might not get to answer the comments, but bear with me. I hope to answer the comments soon. But thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of Founders Journal.
We are the network, we are the key, we are the tribe.